Carlos and Ryan, and we know that you're dying to hear what we have to say today. I say we hear what we have to say today. It's the blank. Fill it in. Fill it in. Fill it in. Yeah.
Go.
Just a backtrack. Ryan just counted out of the blue, and I was definitely not prepared. He went from 10 to 6. I'm just like, what? Wait, whoa. Hold on.
The seconds go by quick, man.
Clearly.
They go by super quick.
All right. Well, then. Let's just start this. Young world. Another week. Another puzzle to solve. But it's your boys, The Blank, with Carlos and Ryan. I am your host, Carlos.
And I'm Ryan.
And this is, again, The Blank with Carlos and Ryan. Welcome to another week.
Welcome to another week.
We'll just address some shit. Just what's going on in the world. Solving problems one step at a time. Because that's what The Blank is. There's a blank and we need to fill it in. And solve the problems.
This week is actually going to be really super interesting because I think that it affects all of our viewers.
Everybody, regardless, even if you ain't a viewer,
other than maybe like our South Korean viewer, but I guess like
Korea,
they can probably, I guess, relate in some sort of way because they happen to go into.
It's happened.
Yeah, but yeah, I just want to say happy Thursday, everybody. Definitely thank you for showing up to another week. Definitely Carlos and I do appreciate you staying with us this long. We've definitely been through it. It's been quite a long time, and I think that we've
is this our 35th?
Yeah, I think it's 35
wow
episodes. Yeah.
Wow,
it's fucking wild.
Wow.
We've definitely gone through the trials and tribulations of like the podcast so far, and we're still growing and still young in spirit kind of thing, and we're still going through it. So thank you. Honestly, from the bottom of our hearts, thank you for listening today. But yeah, Carlos and I got a really interesting episode today. It was tough to even think about what to say about what we're going through and like today's episode, and we kind of it was an automatic response being like, okay, today we have to talk about that. And we've definitely talked about this in the past over the last couple of episodes, or at least in the earlier episodes that we happen to have, but definitely going to be interesting. But Carlos, recent news. But just before we do get into the depth.
Yeah. Oh my God. What the hell, dude? It's a family show. You can't be drinking that shit.
Oh, by the way, for those who are just listening, I have a huge beer in my hand.
My God.
You guys know me, man. You know me.
Jesus Christ. Get it together, sir. Get it together. Anyway, this is recent news. Did we address Betty White passing away?
I do not think that we did.
Okay. Well, we'll address that. So obviously, as the world knows, Betty White, the legend herself, passed away on New Year's Eve. Over 50 plus years in the entertainment business. Was actually a war veteran. Served in the army.
Wow, I had no idea.
Yeah.
Wow.
And she's been through it. She received like 8 Lifetime Achievement Awards for her work. Famously known for working on Golden Girls, and other TV projects since like the 50s. So that says a lot. So RIP to Betty White. She lived a long, long life. And I wasn't generally shocked when I heard about it. But I'm just like, you know what? I hope she finds peace where she's at, because she's lived a long life. She seems like a good human being. So RIP to Betty White.
Yeah, definitely rest in peace. Yeah,
condolences to the family.
Betty White happens to be one of those individuals that even like she wasn't huge in our era of growing up, I would say. Like,
Mm.
Golden Girls was more of like what, like the 50s or 60s.
Golden Girls was aired in the
Was
80s, sir.
80s? Oh, okay, I'm
You are
sorry.
making people feel really old
she
right
was
now.
she was a little bit older in that show though, no? Like,
Yeah, I'd say
okay,
so.
so I get, you know what, I apologize. But definitely I wouldn't consider Betty White one of our time celebrities for our era whatsoever. But you can definitely feel the impact of somebody like her. She was relevant throughout all of her years, every single one of them, every single second,
Every single
no
decade.
matter every single decade, no matter who you were at this point in time, Betty White in some sort of way. And from what I hear, she was a wonderful, wonderful person. So, definitely rest in peace to her and rest in, condolences to the family, like Carl said earlier. So definitely heartbreaking, but, definitely we hope she finds peace wherever she's at right now.
Indeed. More entertainment news. Tristan Thompson. The boy from Brampton.
B-Town.
The boy.
I almost want to say shout out to all the Brampton people listening.
Not this week. Not this week. Bad luck on their part. Bad luck. But Tristan Thompson, NBA player, was in a bit of a scandal as he was accused of cheating on Chloe. And Tristan's like, no, I never slept with her. That is a lie. That cannot be true. No. Turns out she was pregnant. No, that is not my baby. That's not true. I did not sleep with her. No. Baby becomes born, and they took a paternity test. It's like, okay, look, look. So what had happened was,
what had happened was,
you see, when a male and a female engage in sexual intercourse, right? And so it turns out the baby is in fact his.
Tristan,
and Tristan, my boy, what are you thinking? You can take the boy out of Brampton, but you can't take Brampton out of the boy. Just made to make it evidently clear right there for all you people, especially the South Korean listener that we have. Stay away from Brampton. I put it out there. I don't fucking care.
What do you think about Tristan in this case? Like,
I think he had it made. I mean, Chloe seems like a nice girl. I mean, she's not the most popular of the Kardashians right now, but she seems like she has a good head on her shoulders.
So
and
sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. It's just and she gave the guy a chance to, because this isn't his first cheating scandal.
Yeah.
He apparently was accused of sleeping with Jordan Woods. He used to be a good friend of Chloe's sister, and now they don't talk no more. Jordan is now dating Kat.
I remember like way back when there was this one video going around on like TMZ where he was in some like club, like kissing two girls at the same time or some shit like that.
And Chloe's just like, never mind, that's bullshit. Whatever. That ain't nothing. He's still my man. He's mine.
I don't care.
At a front that I have him all the time. That's Chloe. But then she got fed up when the baby was born. Turned out it was his, and Tristan apologized via the Instagram story, as how people take things seriously nowadays. He addressed the fans, apologized to anyone I've disappointed. But everybody in Brampton just like, that's natural behavior. I don't see the issue.
Oh, we
knew.
Yeah,
we knew. I mean, we could have warned you.
Brampton guys is like,
just saying,
shit.
Chloe, and maybe if you came to Brampton a little bit more, you could have seen what you were getting into. But no.
Oh my god! What's funny? I think on the other day I was reading this Reddit post, and I think it was somebody posted it from, I guess I'm assuming they're from Brampton, or maybe they're from the GTA. And for the listeners that don't happen to live in our area, the GTA is the Greater Toronto area, which Brampton, I guess, happens to reside in it. Like, would you consider Brampton, I guess, part of the GTA?
Yeah.
So then in this case, it is, what is all the hate for Brampton, and it definitely reflects on our podcast because Carlos and I have definitely talked our shit.
Khloe Kardashian, what's all the hate?
We've
Ask your
definitely
insurance rates. What's all the hate?
reflected the hate for Brampton, or not the hate, but just like the diss. And for anybody, we have boys who live in Brampton, which is even funnier. So shout out to you guys. But what is the hate?
Yeah. What? Look at your insurance rates. Did you know that the insurance rates there are 200% higher than most of the cities in the Greater Toronto area, or even all of Ontario?
Insurance Carl's coming out.
You know that the insurance rates are insane in there because accidents happen all the fucking time there, all the time, and all these motherfuckers are going 200 in a fucking 50 zone, and like, where are you going? What's the rush? Where's the rush, bitch? You don't need to go nowhere. You know what I mean? And what's wrong with Brampton? Okay, well, listen. Brampton has we have friends from Brampton. They're nice folks. They're cool. I don't trust them, but they're cool. But, just overall, yeah, the insurance rates are horrible. There's nothing to rule. What is there to do with Brampton?
They got good food out there, I'll be honest with you. That's for sure.
Okay, fine. I'll give it to them.
Some lovely,
but Scarborough also has great food. I don't like that place either.
God.
All right. Yeah, I'm going in. I don't give a fuck.
Going in, just hating.
Yeah, just whatever. We're going to start off 2022 right. You know what I'm saying? I don't care. Overall, Brampton, get your shit together, dude. Not a good look. Not a good look Tristan is putting for the boy right now.
Yeah, Tristan, man. You gotta figure it out.
Average
a double. Give me a 15-10 every game and we'll talk.
This dude had to do a double with the women in his life too, man. This guy. Anyways, get your shit together, Tristan. At least, oh my God. The female that he impregnated is pretty attractive though.
Oh,
I will say.
I don't recall.
I will say. You don't see it.
I don't know her. I don't know what she looks like. Yeah, I'll be honest with you. But
okay. Tristan. Well, actually, that's funny you mentioned it because our next guest is okay. That would be interesting though. No. That's it for news on my end. Do you have any recent news?
I got 2 pieces of news, and I'm sure that a lot of you can reflect with me and be saddened and heartbroken with me. BlackBerry recently ended their services to all of their classic phones.
You're literally the only one that cares. Literally the only one that cares.
And for those who know me and are good friends with me, I love myself some BlackBerry. I'm a huge fan of that company.
Yeah,
always have been. I rocked BlackBerries, and I would love to hear stories of any listener that happens to be listening and all of your crazy stories with your BlackBerry, whether you're trying to talk to this girl and get her PIN, or talk to this guy and get his PIN. When they first started coming out with QR codes where you can scan each other's PIN and it would add it to BBM. BBM in general.
And then WhatsApp got invented and they're just like, oh, this is easier. This makes sense. I just add the phone number and then presto, if you're on it, you're on it.
BlackBerry was the life, man. I remember having I had like 2 or 3 BlackBerries throughout, and I rocked a BlackBerry up until a couple years ago, ask Carlos. And for a lot of my friends who know, I 100% had a BlackBerry Classic for 3 or 4 years. It was dope. And I really wish that they would continue with phones, but unfortunately not the outlook of what the company is, but they killed it. So, rest in peace of BlackBerry.
Nope. I don't care.
For all of my fans.
Urinating on your thing right as we speak.
I'm pretty saddened by it.
Urinating on your grave right as we speak. No one cares. But who cares, The company went black. It's all good. And as we all know, once you go go ahead. Continue with your...
The second piece of news, which is quite sad, and I think that it hits home to a lot of our listeners. Maybe not everybody, but some of our listeners. Recently, there was a 19-year-old girl that did happen to unfortunately pass away. That did go to Carlos and my high school. We're a little bit older. I think it was probably at least by 10 years. We're pretty old now in comparison. By about 10 years. But unfortunately, young lady that happened to go to that school, she happened to pass away. due to some unfortunate circumstances with some fuck boys from that school, I'm assuming. But I really just wanted to say condolences to the family, and rest in peace to her. I believe her name was Asha. Um, Super sad story, and it really hits home just because she did happen to go to our high school. Very, very recent to us and unfortunate. It's always sad to hear something going in your neighborhood or something bad happening in our neighborhood. So we lived in a good area too, which is the crazy part. I consider it a pretty good area in general, but super sad. I just wanted to say that out loud just because it is close to home. So definitely rest in peace to her and condolences to the family as well.
Indeed. Did they catch the two guys, or are they still warrant out for the arrest?
Yeah. So there was one dude, supposedly her boyfriend at the time. I forget the dude's name, but you can find him on the Star, and shout out to the Star and CP24 for those news outlets. But yeah, you can find his name. Supposedly the guy got caught and then got caught for like a sexual assault charge as of recent. Which
they were
is
also
super
charged
weird.
with theft or
like
attempt.
breaking and entering or some shit like that. These guys are out stealing Cadillac converters from cars and shit. It's like, bruh, like, fuck, some fuck boys.
But
yeah, unfortunate.
Yeah. And it's just like that shit. Like when we went to school, obviously there would be a few fights and shit, but that's like the extent of the drama that took place at the school. Shit like this didn't happen. It didn't need to happen. It never does need to happen. And condolences to the family that's affected or friends that were affected by this. And especially considering that we're going through such a rough time. It's going to be it must be an extra sad time for them. So, thoughts and prayers, and hope you get through it.
Definitely. Yeah. Definitely.
Okay. Is that it for you recently?
That's it on mine. But I guess the good transition is the news that Ontario happened to drop for us recently.
Is that a good transition?
It's sort of transition. Well, creatively and podcast wise, it definitely an idea that leads to an idea, which is the main idea of our podcast.
You are a TMZ story waiting to happen. You just one mess up, and then we are going to be the front page of TMZ. Oh my god. Anyways, as you can tell, due to the recent news, I have a picture of jail cells in the background to signify the homie Glizzy Maxwell, free her. But
Glizzy Maxwell.
It lines up as to what happened just yesterday. What started yesterday, rather, was Ontario, Canada went back to step 2 of the lockdown, meaning gyms are closed, restaurants closed, theaters are closed, 50% capacity in in grocery stores, big box stores. What else is also affected? Nightclubs, obviously. That's the general what happened.
Unless you got a patio.
Yeah. Or our patio still open?
Patio's still open, actually.
Oh, okay.
Well, it's in the middle of dead.
It's -6 tomorrow, so
winter.
There's no use for this whatsoever. We're back to step 2. So, rock it, don't stop it. Everybody get on the floor.
Carlos, give me your initial thoughts of another lockdown after how many years are we in COVID now? Another lockdown. What are your initial thoughts?
We're going into 3.
3 lockdowns so far.
Yeah.
What are your initial thoughts?
I mean, it sucks. I mean, no one wants to feel like trapped, not able to go anywhere. With the conditions that are going on, we have to wear masks everywhere now, regardless of lockdown or not, which sucks. But with this whole lockdown situation, I think because it's happening right now in the winter, I don't mind it too much myself. But I mean, yeah, if this was dead summer, if it was heat, summer, it would suck because that would mean no beach, no, no hanging out with friends, no caravana, and no caravana means no things to wine pun, no.
And you know how much Carabana means to this podcast, everybody.
It
So
is very, very important. But they did actually issue out a statement saying that they will try to come back this year. So here's to hoping. But I mean,
2022.
yeah, it's lockdown. It's only scheduled for the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, I think it's January the 20 or the 19th or the 21st or something along those lines.
Yeah,
Like 2 weeks from
so around those lines.
2 weeks from yesterday, from Wednesday. But yeah, Ontario.
Oh, it's schools.
Oh, yeah, school's another thing.
That's important. Schools are also affected. Parents are not happy about that. They're trying to get them kids out the fucking house and just have the shits to themselves. So that way they can do whatever hood rat shit they're trying to do while the kids are gone at school. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, because I can imagine like a lot of parents are upset because nowadays with the lockdown, most of the parents are working from home anyway. And now with the kids home, they're going to interrupt that work process, which sucks.
Hell yeah.
So what can you say about it, dude? It's unfortunate, but at least this one is only scheduled for 2 weeks. Who knows? Here's to hoping that it doesn't last as long. It's probably going to get extended if the numbers are going up like it is. Like we were talking about it earlier, but Omicron isn't as dangerous from what I'm seeing as the previous variant. But it's more contagious, so I can understand. I was watching this video where a doctor was saying the fact that you have to ask whether you have Omicron or the cold just shows you the severity of Omicron itself. Because if it's in comparison to a cold, then it shouldn't be as bad. But if it's pretty contagious and it sucks. To be truthful, my brother caught it and my mom actually tested positive as well for it.
Oh shit.
Yeah, so they're good though. They're perfectly fine. Like they're not like dying or anything. The cough is here and there, but yeah, like everything they mentioned was like in comparison to a cold. So I don't think it's as lethal. I don't think. I think a lockdown is, I guess, necessary if the ICU numbers are coming up a bit, because that's the only numbers I'd be concerned with, to be honest. But we shall see.
I think the lockdown in itself, I think one of the interesting things is that it's really bringing out the frustration and like the turn of like thought process in a lot of people in relation to like their political views, in relation to like when the Delta variant came out, like early, late 2019 or throughout 2020 or 2021. Being in that specific situation, you have a lot of people think, yeah, I agree with it. I agree with vaccines. I agree with this. I feel like this lockdown has really brought out the frustration and like the opposition to our government as of recent. I think that with Ford, and shout out to Doug Ford. But
Oh Jesus.
In this case, a lot of people fucking hate you at the moment, man. I think that's a huge thing, and I think that a lot of people
I think Ryan was watching a few Chris Guy videos early before this episode, and then he was just like, "Oh, this Chris Guy, you know what? He doesn't get the benefit of the doubt. He was onto something. He's onto something here."
But I'm interested. I'm interested to hear people's opinions about what the government is doing right, what the government's doing wrong. Carlos and I are part of a group of friends that we all have a mutual group chat where we talk about current events, things that are in relation to us and how it affects us. And I feel like that's one of the biggest things at the moment. So Carlos, like in your eyes, how do you feel? Is the government failing us at the moment? Well, I guess if you voted, you would vote Doug out. Where does are you frustrated with the government and how they're approaching this lockdown kind of thing? If we have a huge percentage of people that happen to be vaccinated, do you agree with this lockdown?
I mean, I agree to the extent of, like I mentioned earlier, if the ICU numbers are getting up. From what I'm seeing, it's not as severe. There's not really many deaths relating to this. From what I'm seeing, like from my personal experiences, this was just like a really bad cold. Not, I wouldn't even say really bad. I think the cough and the fever was the main thing about it, but it didn't seem as severe when my brother had it. Like he was literally in isolation for like 5 days, and when he came out, he was like, "I'm all good." And then he got tested, and he's good now. But in terms of it being necessary for the next 2 weeks, I don't know. I don't know about that. I think it's just the fact that it's more contagious is what they're worried about. I don't see what it does. Like even before the lockdown, they were saying that restaurants and bars should close at 11. Like I was not aware that this COVID had a time curfew before it would start attacking and affecting people.
It's motherfucking 11
Up, it's 12
man.
o'clock. You know what that means? It's COVID, baby. No, just imagine just like you're about to leave the bar. It's like, hurry up and give me my check. Hurry up, give me. It's 10:55. We need to go.
Look, girl, I've been talking to you for like 15 minutes. It's 10:55. I swear.
We need a bounce.
Yeah, we need to get out of here.
Check.
Yeah.
But I want to get to know you more. I don't give a.
Yeah, I'm trying to go home. You know,
I'm telling you, once 10:59 hits, I'm out. No, just I don't get it. I don't know if it was necessary. Because and also I'm not myself a much very political person. I don't want to, show. I'm not really the type to really show my political stance or who I, want to vote for. Trump 2024. But I want to be clear that
Big T, baby.
Yeah.
Sorry.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
Sorry.
Is that who you're gonna vote for?
I'm just trying to, get our.
Is that who you're rooting for?
Big T, baby.
Wow. Jesus. Oh, we forgot to bring up that today's the 1 year anniversary.
Yes.
Of the Capitol riots.
That was definitely one thing that we need to talk about. Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy, huh? It's been 1 year.
So, side note, before we get back into the lockdown of Ontario, it has been 1 year since these motherfuckers stormed the motherfucking Capitol.
Let's do this without being biased.
Hey, I'm biased as fuck.
You okay?
Anybody who's part of that shit, you guys are all fucked.
Okay.
Like,
all right.
Absolutely fucked.
Can we tell the news without being biased?
You don't see fucking Canadians storming fucking Queen's Park or freaking Ottawa for that kind of shit.
I'm just saying, Trudeau is a handsome man. If he asked me to do it, I'd fucking do it. I'll go to Queen's Park. I'll burn that motherfucker to the ground. Let's do this shit. On the set. You see me crip walking on the shit? No. I'm playing.
But yeah, no.
Let's not be biased. Let's be nice. All right. I'll tell the news. All right. So 1 year ago today, them bitch ass. I'm sorry. Wow. I'm sorry. It was tough. I get where you're coming from now. It was tough. 1 year ago today, President Trump was, giving a speech, and he was upset at the fact that an election was. Did Trump lose at that point, or was the election about? He lost, right? Yeah. So he had lost, and he was upset about the recounts, and he could not accept that he lost. So he had asked. And this is caught on video, telling his supporters to go to Capitol Hill and show you. No, he did not ask them. No, he did not ask them for headshots or anything like that. No. He told them that to go to Capitol Hill and show them what Trump's America really looks like, to vent your frustrations. And he said that he will be right there with them. He did say that.
Oh, yeah.
He did, in fact, say that he would be right there with them. And so them white motherfuckers ran in, and they go and They went into that building. They tarnished the legacy of Capitol Hill by ripping down flags, attacking, bringing back the Confederate flag, which hasn't been in that building for decades, literal decades. One person ended up getting shot in the building who actually served in the army. Just imagine surviving the war and then you dying because you're being a dumbass. That was... Huh. So do you have that whole army funeral, or they're just like, let's hold off for this one? Let's not do this one. Let's not. But they stormed the building, tarnished, spray painted, broke glass. Where was the security, though? You know what I'm saying? They were very lax that day. I didn't. To be fair, let's not. No. I'll give the security a benefit of the doubt. I'm sure they did not expect a bunch of rednecks coming and stomping down their fucking building that day. No one plans for that. To be fair, so I'll give the security a benefit of the doubt. But they stormed the building. People were arrested. Charges were laid out. And then a few hours later, President Trump just like, "Hey, I didn't mean it. Just go home." Because I'm not there, and but enjoy your day.
I think he still continued to call them good people after the fact, which was crazy.
He also said Kyle Rittenhouse was a good person, also, and took a picture with him. So I mean, Trump is a. Here's the deal. I'm going to say something that's controversial. I don't think Donald Trump is a racist.
Why do you say that?
I don't think he's a racist. I think he's an absolute narcissist.
Okay.
Who only truly loves himself. If a gun was pointed at him and his wife, and he's like, someone is going to die, he will literally put his wife in front of himself so he can save himself. He would, 100%. So Donald Trump is an absolute narcissist. And I feel that he only loves people who resemble himself. So if you're rich and you got money, Trump will like you. If you love America as much as he does, Trump will like you. And if you talk about, and if you hate it when people talk about how many times you've been bankrupt, probably Trump will like you. You know what I mean? Yeah. And if you're into Russian women who used to be in Playboy and you end up marrying her, Trump will probably like you.
He is definitely about that.
So, I mean, just saying, I think he's an absolute narcissist who truly loves himself and only loves people who resemble himself. That's all I'm saying. So Trump doesn't care about literally nobody but himself.
The wild thing that I always, and like looking from the outside in, because, us being in Canada, it definitely affects us to a certain point, but we're not like, deep in the trenches of American politics and hating your aunt because she follows Trump or, vice versa or whatever it may be. Like, I don't feel like I'm part of that as much it is, but to see it from an outside perspective, the fucking dramatics that country is going through over fucking Mr. Television, you're fired, dude, is incredible. It is absolutely fucking wild. How
to be fair, have you seen the third season of The Apprentice though? That was good shit.
I haven't seen any of the. I've probably seen snippets of episodes, but I've never seen a full episode.
It's pretty good shit, man. I don't know. That seems like a dude I'd fight for.
But that dude,
shit comes real.
From going to be a billionaire television reality dude to the fucking president to cause like a crazy ruckus within the whole country in itself, that's pretty fucking wild. And it's crazy to see how much of a shit show, even just like the Capitol riot, to bring back to that, like just that event in itself, aside from everything else that happened throughout those years that he happened to be president, absolute madness. I don't want to say I give it up to him, but it's just like, that is fucking crazy. You gotta be one fucking crazy dude to be able to stir that much ruckus within a whole country, especially the United States of America. most powerful country in the world, supposedly. So I don't know. He's definitely an odd bird, that's for sure.
Mm, mm. I mean, yeah, he's a character in a bit, but what can you do? He was still president at the end of the day. He tried. Apparently, a lot of jobs were given during his presidency. I'll give it up to him. Oh, I did that. I gave it up to him. Uh-oh. Well, we're gonna hear about this in the comments. That's fine. I'll say this. He is someone who truly does love his country and do anything by it. But I think he's gone about it a bit of the wrong way. I mean, like, sure, jobs were given, but he really needed like a publicist to just be like, hey, you should not have said that, or no, don't do that, or yeah, don't talk to this person. But he's in it, he's in the zone. Like, I think this presidency was just a really big ego trip for him, that he could have just like toned it down just a little bit more. But hey, what can we do, baby? We can't wait for 2024. It's going to be a great year. Trump will maybe just get it again. He said he's going to run, but who knows? We shall see.
So, not to get too deep into the whole Capitol riot and politics of America, because
I think we already did that, pal.
we gotta get back to our main topic.
Fine.
At some point in time, but yeah, that's definitely interesting. If you haven't heard of the Capitol riot somehow because you happen to live under a rock, definitely go check that out. It's definitely going to be in the history books, which is always an interesting thing because, like, us growing up, going through history classes throughout all of grade school and in the high school, you hear about all these like wild things that happen to certain countries. This is definitely going to be one of those things that is written in the history books that kids 20 years from now, if they're still teaching history, they'll see it in a history book somewhere. So definitely part of the lifestyle. But
to
get back into lockdown,
shutdown,
Carlos, how do you cope? How do you cope with lockdowns?
Chronic masturbation. That's really all you can do. No women to go around to do it, so you gotta do what you will with it, and just ease the tension, ease the pain, and
got a good stroke game.
Yeah, hey, my biceps are getting, my bicep rather is getting a bit bigger, but no, I'm kidding. Please don't do that. See a doctor if you have an addiction. Yeah, I mean, I remember the first time when they announced the very first time they announced the lockdown. I was at work and they were playing it on TV. I'm just like, oh shit. So what's gonna happen? Like, is everything gonna close? Like, there was just a lot of questions we had because we never lived through a lockdown before. So I wanted to know, like, what's going to open, what's going to close, like, what's going to happen here at work, like, am I still going to be employed here? Things like, okay, I'm not, can we just quit for 2 seconds? Hold on. Sir, you have been curling up your mustache for literally the entire time we've been doing this.
I'm like addicted to curling my mustache.
What is the deal?
I can't help it, man.
What is the deal? It is very hard to take this seriously. Talking about the politics and our livelihood when you were just like, geez. Can you imagine you running for a leader of the country, just like, my fellow Canadians, we are here.
Red Dead Redemption look.
Oh God.
It's tough, man. Asian guys have hard times growing beards and mustaches, I'm pretty proud of mine. To be honest,
like a goddamn cowboy out here. What in tarnation's going on here? Oh Jesus. Anyways, going back to what I was saying. Yeah, just a lot of unanswered questions. I think to this day is still going on because just a lot of unanswered questions. Just them announcing the closures. Just a simple question we need an answer to is the why. Why is the closure necessary for those certain aspects as to why who was closed? So I mean, the schools, why did they need to close down? gyms, restaurants. Why is it 50% capacity? What's with the curfew shit? Like, it's just a simple why to these questions. A simple answer, rather, to these questions would help a lot. Um, I mean, it's just a lot of fear that I'm seeing coming from the government. They have to understand that it is safety. I understand that they're worried about the safety of others, but they have to also consider that jobs are being lost during this. Like, just they announced that Cineplex laid off like 5,000 people temporarily because of this, and it sucks because now they don't get paid.
Yeah.
Throughout these times, and they can't afford to live in their spots where they're at, and it's gonna suck. And even a friend of mine, we were talking about it, and he brought up a good point, saying that from all of these lockdowns and the pandemic in general, we're gonna be paying, our taxes are gonna be paying this shit for the rest of our lives. Like, we're gonna be paying for this for the rest of our lives.
Huge.
You know what I mean? Like, whether it be through taxes or shit's going up in price, right? Like crazy right now. Like, prices in vehicles, like the chip shortages. Like, I can't buy a PS5, dude. So thanks a lot, Doug Ford.
This
Fuck
is
you,
your
Doug Ford.
motherfucker. It's your motherfucking fault.
The
I can't get
fat
a
ass
PS5.
motherfucker going on there. I can't get I can't cop one. I have to, imagine me paying double the price for a PS5. Fuck that shit. But yeah, no, it's just, I don't know, dude. I don't know. It's a shitty situation for everybody involved. I don't think there's going to be a right or wrong answer to what's going on here. It's a matter of opinion for this, and that's what sucks. Because when it comes to opinion, there's never really it's really as a consensus as to who's right or who's wrong. And the fact that you have to fight over that is, it's a scary thought. And yeah, I don't know what's going to happen next, but I hope things come back to normal. Who knows if they will, but fingers crossed, man.
I really feel for the government in this case, and it's easy to pick a side and just say, hey, like, they're doing the wrong thing. Fuck lockdowns, let anybody who wants to stay home, let them stay home, but open up everything else for the people who feel confident in that they'll be fine realistically. It's easy to say that in hindsight, but it's really unfortunate that we're sort of losing, I guess, like the philosophical like thought process that Canadians have in general. Like, we care about one another. We've always known we care about our neighbor. We do whatever we need to do to help them. But as soon as it affects us personally on a negative level, like individually, that's when we're like, man, fuck our neighbor. Like, I just want to go out. I just want to do this. I just want to do that. Like, fuck.
How am I supposed to feed my drug habits?
That's what I mean. Like, that kind of shit. And it's understandable. I'm not gonna sit here and criticize those individuals, say you're wrong in this case, because it is coming from stress. We all know how stress happens to affect the body in relation to how people deal with certain things. I feel for the government because they have to try and find a balance between keeping people making money so that they can pay taxes, so the government happens to run, and then shutting down in full, and then having people fucking hate your government. There's really no right answer here. It's really just the government trying to figure out what to do, what's the best move, how do we make a decision by, hopefully everyone gets to survive at the end of the day from it. Super fucking, like myself, I'm starting to get to that point where it's a little bit frustrating to have to lock down again, but I understand it. I wouldn't know what I would do if I was in politics. Like Carl's like, it's almost like a hypothetical question, but what would you do as Doug Ford? Like, do you call the lockdown? Do you just say, man, fuck old people? Like, that's a huge argument that's happening at the moment. Do you just say fuck immunocompromised people? Like, you guys are on your own kind of thing, Or Or do you not get to live life because I happen to be healthy and you happen to be immunocompromised? Like you
Um,
as a politician, like what do you do?
well, I mean, you got to think of everybody as a whole. You understand? Like, it's not just the select people who are affected, and you have to really, because I don't know who is affected, who has I don't know everybody personally, so I'm not sure who would be affected more or less. But I have to think about everybody as a whole, because he is coming from a tough spot. Like, as much as people shit on him, he has to be the one to make these decisions, and it sucks because realistically, there's not, like we mentioned earlier, there's not going to be a right decision for this. So, I mean, me personally, if I was there, there's probably similar decisions I would have made in his shoes. It sucks, but I mean, again, you have to think about everybody as a whole and who's going to be affected. Regardless, I understand jobs are going to be taken, or our jobs are going to be lost over this. People's mental mind state are probably not going to be the greatest, but you have to think of everybody, and you gotta really. It sucks because people are just like, why are you going to defend Doug Ford? Like, he is in a tough spot right now, and he was during the entire thing. People protesting outside of his house
Yeah.
over this shit. It sucks because schools are being affected, students learning from home, not making friends, their social skills are not going to be the greatest when as they get older due to this. It sucks, you know what I mean? It's unfortunate. But yeah, if I was personally in his shoes, I mean, I don't know where to start. I mean, yeah, a lockdown I think would be necessary. I would close shit down if once numbers go down. I definitely want to address the foreigner situation. Just figure
No
that out. Just
foreigners.
yeah, y'all gotta bounce. You know what I'm saying? Y'all. It's y'all fault with that we in this position in the first place. So let's keep this going. You know what I mean? Um, being white is all right. That's how I see it. And just Uncle Ruckus the shit up. You know what I mean? Ryan, come on, get it together.
Oh my god.
Get it together,
Being
Ryan.
white is all right.
All right, and then Ryan comes in with a mustache. It's like, what tarnation? What is going on here? No, but it's. I mean, yeah, dude. What can you do? Like, what could you do? Like, you know what I mean? Like, Doug Ford has nobody to look to for it's like he has people obviously that are medically experts in this in this situation on what the virus can do, but Doug Ford doesn't have anyone to look up to for advice. Doug Ford doesn't have a boss to be like, hey man, what should I do, or woman, because we're not sexist here, depending on sports, but what
Nothing, man. Go ahead.
thank you. So rude. And but yeah, he doesn't have anybody to ask like what should we do here, what's the next step, what would you do in this situation, because nobody wants to be in that situation what he's in right now. It sucks, it's horrible, just. And yeah, I mean, because I try not to shit on Doug as much as anybody, because at the end of the day, a politician, that's their job, is to take the heat for whatever bad happens to the economy or what's going on in the world. Like, people just have to take the heat for it, and that's what politicians are for. So I think I give him credit where it's due. Like, it sucks that he's in the position where he's in, but at the same time, fuck him.
I think that one of the things about hearing another lockdown and knowing personally some people that happen to be affected by it, financially, aside from COVID at the moment, I think that a lot of people that happen to still have somewhat of a good situation happening. Like, I count my blessings, man. I get to work from home. I don't have to be in contact with people unless I choose to. I still get paid, at that point in time. And a lot of people, like you said, with like Cineplex, I really feel for these 5,000 people that are being laid off, because it's like, man, they don't know when their next paycheck's gonna come in. I don't even know if they've really established that. Like, I know that CERB, or the social assistance kind of program that Canada happens to have for these individuals, is still running. But I
Oh, it
don't know if
is?
it's. I think it still is. I think that Trudeau came out and said that they're still going to try and run it, knowing that the fucking Gundam wing is out here to get us. Um, in this case, I really feel for it, but I think there's one thing that I do want to say to everybody. It's just, count your blessings. For the individuals that have it terribly, I don't have it bad at all. Like I get to sit at home and sit on a computer and make podcasts with my fucking brother over here on Thursdays just about current events. So it allows me to really think about my own situation. And I hope that a lot of people just reflect on their situation, how good you have it, in comparison to some other people, because some people happen to be struggling because of this lockdown heavily. Whether they're happening to lose their family on difference of opinions, losing their house because they can't pay their mortgage. They got a bunch of fucking crazy ass kids because their kids aren't learning fucking social, whatever they're supposed to learn socially by
All they
being
do
in
is play
school.
Fortnite and Call of Duty.
That's what I mean. Like that was
So
another
can you
thing.
imagine when they go back into the real world, they're just talking to people like they're in Call of Duty. Fucking, they go back into the office. So hey, fucking, hey you female, you fucking bitch, go freaking clean up the freaking thing. And like I asked you to do, it's like, whoa, you can't talk to me like that. What are you talking about? Since when that's the thing? These people don't know, man.
One of the universal things that I've been finding a lot on Reddit is a lot of people complaining about the growth aspect that they're missing out on over the past 2 years. And to go back to kids that are missing school in relation to social aspects, and to guys that that happen to be dating or want to be dating in their 20s, and they expect these 20s to be the best years of their lives. They're missing out on it. Same goes for women as well. Anybody who feels like they're being suppressed socially in relation to like learning life lessons and stuff like that, and I agree with you. I think that you are being suppressed in a certain way, but it's just like, man, it's unfortunate that you guys have to go through this at this point in time because of a fucking bacteria that's ruining everybody's fucking lives. I can only imagine.
No. Let's be serious. What really started this, obviously, was the Chinese and how they would go. What am I going to?
Hey, man.
Uh-oh.
I hear bad is pretty good.
Oh, Jesus. Enough to start a worldwide pandemic?
I would eat it if I had the chance.
You would?
100%.
Really?
People have been eating bat for fucking centuries. Centuries.
Okay. All I'm saying is, Ryan, if I knew that a pandemic started from you,
oh yeah,
I'm sorry.
Take me out. Lock away the key.
Yeah, let's Capitol Hill Ryan's place right now. Just saying. Obviously, we don't believe that the pandemic, or I don't even know what the hell started it. Like that's just an insane. Can you imagine getting a three-piece dinner meal, and then people are accusing you, and then you take one bite, and then that starts a goddamn freaking lockdown across the planet. Insane in the brain. Anyways, yes, please continue.
There's just, for one thing I do is I have a young brother that's in school at the moment. He's going through some of his best years socially, just learning socially, learning how to make friends, learning how to act as yourself, becoming the person that you happen to be. And he's happening to miss out on those years because everything's done behind a screen now. And I understand why we have to do it, but it's really unfortunate that the people that happen to be affected by COVID are being ruined somewhat socially, and life lessons and growth in relation to personal skills, whatever it may be. That is definitely a huge hit that is being taken part, because when Carlos and I were in grade 7, we were having fucking the time of our lives, doing whatever the hell we wanted,
sexually harassing women. Times are much easier. Times were much easier back then. Oh boy.
Man, it was just a different fucking time. Like I can only imagine.
Much easier.
Like
I'm kidding. We never did that. We never did that.
It's crazy, man. Like I really fucking feel. Another one of the reasons why I wanted to do this episode is to get our thought process out and to really try to reach and really just fucking talk about who's being affected by this lockdown, and who's getting it the worst. But yeah.
So I was reading an article that many companies actually made a shit ton of money during the pandemic too. So it's like, really? But with everyone being home, who knew?
How much
Who knew?
fucking time
Well, I
people
imagine
got?
Amazon probably made bank
Oh
because
yeah,
shit like that probably like that.
Amazon's
I
got to be
understand.
fucking killing it.
Oh yeah, and like Canada Post probably make it bank
Apple
or
just hit $3 trillion market
mm,
share as of a
three
couple days
trillion
ago. $3 trillion, which I think it's the
trillion dollar company.
first time ever in anybody's history that a company
There's a
is worth
$1 trillion.
trillion, 3 trillion.
Mm,
So for everybody who's chilling buying new Apple products, you provided that. So
yeah.
well done for
Don't
you.
clap for them, you zombies, you fucking sheep. For a basic ass phone. I went there. I don't care. If anyone wants to fight me over the goddamn iPhone Android debate, go ahead. Let the games begin.
Yeah, side note, actually hit us up on whatever socials we have, Instagram, Gmail. Let us know exactly what operating system you happen to run.
Yeah.
And Carlos will definitely
I'll fight you. Like, I don't care. I'll invite you to the goddamn
give you
show.
your
Give me your take. Give me your take.
shout
I'll
out
destroy
to
you.
BlackBerry.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Jesus.
The dying breed.
Oh my God. If anybody has an iPhone, I will literally invite you to replace Ryan on this show. Oh, for God's sake. But yeah, man, you made some good points in terms of, the mental state and, counting your blessings. But what I won't be counting is my goddamn money because fucking Doug Ford is trying to lay off all these motherfuckers. How am I supposed to afford the light bill now? Because I don't got the money now. All right? It sucks. It's unfortunate. But you know what this is? It's temporary. Pain is temporary. Love is necessary. Keep that in mind. Lil Wayne said that. His next few lines would be very, very, very vulgar, but we're not going to go into that.
Something about Liu Kang.
Actually, no. He says he went from eating pussy to eating commissary.
Shout out to Lil Wayne.
Yeah, Lil Wayne. How do you cope during the lockdown? Not helping for the young world.
And for anyone who's listening via radio or via
He
podcast
pointed to the
app,
goddamn beer. He's an alcoholic.
I don't know, man. The thing about it is that it's just being like aware of my surroundings. I got it good, man. I really do.
So how do you cope? What do you do to have it good?
I don't need to cope. That's the best part.
Oh, Jesus.
You know what I mean? I'm
Go.
fortunate enough to be in a situation where I don't have to cope. I don't need to cope with anything. I think that understanding the situation for what it is, realizing that I can't control it, and this is kind of the Buddhist in me, but it's just realizing that you're in a situation that you can't really control, and you just have to try and understand for what it is, and detach your emotion towards the situation in itself. So for me, I get to just live my life the way that I get to live it, and I make decisions based off of the situation that I happen to be in, and it doesn't bother me. So yeah, it sucks that me and my boys can't go drink beers at the bar or go to the club and have a bunch of fun and do dancing and all that kind of shit. Like
some hood rat shit with your friends.
Some hood rat shit with me and my friends, like all that kind of shit, pulling over in the middle of the night and dancing in the middle of the road, that kind of stupid shit that we happen to do when we were younger, but it doesn't bother me. I'm super fortunate to be in the situation that I'm in, and I take it for what it is. I'm still breathing. That's what I tell a lot of people. So I don't need to cope, but I feel for the people who are in terrible situations because I have it really good in comparison. I feel terrible for them, but it's just like, it's tough, man. It really is. Like, I know one of our buddies, and shout out to our buddy Tixon. Love you, man.
I'm indifferent.
Big gym goer.
Yes.
So it's like for the guys
really affected by this.
Some of the guys that really depend on certain like services that happen to be outside of what they can control, because they go to the gym a lot, or maybe they go to the bar a lot, or maybe they have a certain social club or whatever it may be, and they can't attend those certain events anymore. That shit affects people mentally very heavily. And I'm fortunate to say that I don't really get that whatsoever, but it's just like, man, I can only imagine how people are going through and what they happen to have to go through that. Wild.
Hmm. So like, do you read while you're at home?
Well, according to our last our episode, I don't know, Carlos, have you been working on your New Year's resolution?
I
The
completely forgot what mine was.
we're 2 episodes in the new year, and well, not even. This is our first, no?
It's our first episode in
So
the
yeah, happy 2022 to everybody. But my New Year's resolution was definitely to read a little bit more, and I definitely have not been doing that. But no, there's certain ways to look at certain things. And to definitely get into not to get into too much of a philosophical like thought process of an episode, but um, you have control of the way that you look at things, and I think that's super important. So sorry, Carlos, man.
I've
It's the
been
way I
playing
look.
video games a lot, so that's how I'm coping with the shit. I've been working on my diet here and there, so I'm trying to take it more strictly now. But here's to hoping. I got my what's it called? Those stringy elastic band things that you use to,
Man, a yo-yo.
bicep curl. Are you trying to piss me off?
Man, the '90s yo-yos.
Freaking elastic bands that you use to lift, to bicep curl, and I got shit to work out
That's
at
hype.
home. I'll
That's hype.
just leave it at there.
Hype.
Ah, and yeah, so I'll be trying to do that. Especially since we're going to be home for like these next few weeks. I don't even know when this shit's going to end, but who knows, man. But yeah, I need to get active. I'm feeling it in my bones a little bit. Yeah, just this lockdown. This lockdown is definitely, I wouldn't say it's weighing on me, like, because I do work from home myself, and I feel okay. I don't feel stressed. I don't feel as stressed. I don't feel as, but there are days where I'm just like, oh man, I wish I went out, but not during this weather. I'm okay now. Everything's kosher now. I'll chill at home for a little bit. But when the summer comes and I'm still locked in, that would suck. That would
So
suck.
one of the most common things that I've been reading a lot on Reddit recently, and I'm a big user, at least a follower or reader on the Ask Toronto Reddit. So for anybody who uses Reddit from Toronto and you haven't seen this Reddit as of yet, I think it's /ask TO. A lot of the biggest questions is the dating scene in Toronto during
Mm.
lockdowns. And I didn't want to make a whole episode about it, but it's definitely an interesting question to bring up to, not only Carlos, not only like myself, to anybody who happens to be listening. One of the biggest things that happens to be talked about as of recently is how do you meet people? How do you date during lockdowns? We've definitely gone through 2 years of it. I'm sure that people have it pat down by now. But how do you approach dating and meeting people during lockdowns? Because it seems like we're going through a lot of fucking lockdowns as of recent. How do you fix that? And I would love to hear some tips, Carlos, if you can give some tips to some of our listeners that are probably wondering the same thing.
I don't fucking know. Join us next week when we'll be talking about. I don't. Yeah, dude, it was even during the. I'm gonna be real with you. Like the only time I went on dates were during the summer last year, where shit was, and the year before that. Like I went on a few dates during the summer during those times because shit was they were more lenient during those times. It wasn't as locked down as before. But like for people who are literally going on apps right now during the winter season, well during this lockdown time that are going on like online dates, I don't know how that would work. I read an article or I read a stat saying that um they hated the whole people in Ontario hated the whole dating via Tinder or Bumble app, because I think now those apps have video features that you can video chat with somebody.
That's wild.
So yeah, I know people hated it. They prefer to do the whole in-person experience, but yeah, me personally, I'm not really into that. I prefer in person myself. I can't do the whole meeting someone over video, because then I just do the whole, hey, what are you doing? So what's going on?
Rub the back of your neck.
Just just looking around, making sure nobody's watching me what I'm doing. Me laughing at my phone. I can't do that. I don't know. I prefer in person. I prefer to do the whole light skin face in front of my dates.
Hell yeah.
But yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be. I think in the summer the shit's gonna be more lenient. I think obviously dating is gonna come back to normal, which is why I'm trying to get my physique on. Look like goddamn Brock Lesnar when the shit's over. Muscle.
The one thing I would like to say to everybody that happens to be listening, that if you are experiencing or at least going through this specific situation, I would love to hear from you. How do you meet people? How do you not meet people? How do you even cope with trying to meet somebody realistically in this kind of situation? I've been seeing I can answer
the how do you not meet people part. It's a good question, really. All you have to do, there's two things. There's chronic masturbation. And the second one is you create a podcast with a friend of yours and you risk everything on this podcast, including cancellation. And then people will just genuinely hate you for it.
That's a good way to do it.
Yeah, I
think you meet people.
So far, so good.
It definitely creates that disconnect. That's for sure.
You think so?
I can't imagine having to try and date or to try to meet people on a certain level and get to know them during a fucking global pandemic. Tough, man. Definitely fucking tough. You can't get that light skin look in whenever you need to. I'm sure that if you got a laggy phone and it's just not picking up and you're just skipping through frames and your light skin look gets missed in the middle of that frame.
You're like, why are you looking like that?
Yeah, why are you looking like that?
Like imagine you're laughing and then just and then you get frozen like that on the screen. It's like, what's wrong? It's like your face froze at the most inappropriate time. I'm unattracted to you and I will now skip. Goodbye. Yeah, man. Oh boy. How are people getting laid? Is a better question.
That is a huge,
because because think about it, dude. Like all jokes aside, if the pandemics keep on going and going, the population is gonna just decrease, dude. Because people are getting laid. We have to depend on people who are already in relationships, and there's only so many children that they can pop out. You know what I mean? And then what's gonna happen?
There's definitely, it seems like in the past couple of years, there's been a lot of, and not only just during COVID, there's been a lot of different studies that have been going on with news outlets saying that there's not enough kids being produced over the last couple of years, whether that's due to inflation and wage and all the issues that we do happen to have aside from COVID in itself. I think you're right. I think that people probably aren't getting laid as much as.
So unfortunate. God, that's not God's will.
There's not as much sex going on.
Damn.
Just because of COVID. I wonder if there's a correlation between STIs and COVID. You know what I mean? If you brought two graphs being man, gonorrhea is not existence. Gonorrhea doesn't exist in the last 2 years.
Since 2019, gonorrhea is no longer a thing.
Yeah, we've eradicated gonorrhea because.
And then when the shit's all over, when the shit's over and we go back to normal, then they're like, oh, "Why's my dick so itchy?" And then what is this? What's going on here? And then the doctor's like, bro, you got you got herpes.
Man, you're
Like,
the
what?
first motherfucker to have this
In
for 2
over 3 years.
years. Yeah, in over
Like,
3 years.
word?
A
Damn.
word?
So what? Am I gonna die? I'm like, no, that's not how that works. No. Yeah. Yeah, dude. Just so many questions you got about lockdowns, man. But so little time. Well, it's gonna be only 2 weeks. I think we should be okay. I don't think it'll last as long. It'll be over before you know it.
We're hoping so. We're definitely
Fingers
hoping so.
crossed. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
But in this case, Carlos, because we're only happening for 2 weeks, what are your final thoughts for our listeners today? In relation to lockdowns, what is your final thought in relation to at least this lockdown? If we don't have a part 2 episode, which we might, depending on what happens 2 weeks from now. But what are your final thoughts on today's episode and lockdowns?
Masturbation is a sin. You shouldn't do it. Keep that in mind. For those of you who are religious, and for those of you who are not religious, masturbation is nasty. Don't do it. Don't be gross. All right. There's more to life than masturbation and porn. Try video games, watching movies, create a podcast, but don't try to compete with us because you know where that's gonna last you. Do you know what's gonna last? You know what's gonna happen? We'll destroy you and end you, and then you back to square one, and then you go back to chronic masturbation. That's what's gonna happen. Keep that in mind. But yes, find activities to do. Stores are open, so get as much as workout equipment as you can to work out at home. Even just in case, even if this only lasts for another 2 weeks, just get them anyway, because you never know, another lockdown might happen again. Prepare yourselves. Go on Amazon, order some shit, get a book, read a book, lick the book, touch the book. Sorry, that's my ADD acting up. Yeah, just do some shit. And last and most importantly, don't take this podcast seriously. I don't want to hear shit how some of the jokes I said were offensive. It's all in love and all in humor. If I say some offensive shit, just tell me. Or if you don't like it, turn it off. I don't fucking care. All right? But you know what? You know what we always do here, regardless of jokes? We value opinions. I don't fucking care, but Ryan values opinions.
Oh, definitely.
So here's the deal. If you got thoughts, negative or positive, about the show, about topics we talk about, tell us. That's what you can do during the lockdown. Talk to us. We're here. We're on your side, regardless of how you feel. We love you.
Huge.
That's my final thoughts.
Beautiful. Beautifully said.
I'm not trying to see this shit on BlogTO where my face is all over the goddamn article because I'm saying some offensive shit. Bro, if my article is on some shit, I don't care. I'll talk to anybody. Whatever. I ain't scared.
I would love to see that.
Yeah, that'd be
if anyone knows the writers or whoever is connected to BlogTO, get us on there. That'd be pretty dope.
That'd be something. What are your final thoughts, Ryan?
I think that I want to say 2 things. I guess the first thing is that definitely don't get too discouraged. Hopefully things are looking up. I don't know exactly when, but put some trust in yourself, find some stuff to do. Hopefully we'll get out of this soon. Second thing is go get your booster. We didn't really talk about that. Carlson and I are both vaccine fucking pro, but we never really talked.
To be fair, for the booster situation, I don't know, but Chris Guy was very clear about situations like that. So let's hold off. Let's hold off.
I'm gonna say go get your booster, if you can, at a certain point. But definitely, yes, keep your head up. We're going through another lockdown, unfortunately, and Carlos and I will definitely be with a new episode next week, so hit us up for that one. Even if it's just part of your day, at least you'll have us in your ear for an hour, or whatever it may be. But we'll be doing another episode next week, and definitely, if you can, go get your booster. It will definitely help. Hopefully get us out of this sooner than later, I'd say. Those are my final thoughts on lockdowns.
All right. All righty. Okay.
Recommendations, Carlos.
Oh.
You got to give me a recommendation before people go.
There's this guy. What's his name? There's this guy. You know what? A guilty pleasure song, "Especially for You" by Kylie Minogue. Guilty pleasure song. It's cheesy as fuck, but I like it. That's my recommendation.
It's dope.
And also get vaccinated. That's my recommendation.
You hear that, everybody? Kylie Minogue.
I thought you were going to talk about the vaccination part. That was very important too, but sure. Yeah, Kylie Minogue. Okay.
So funny enough that Carlos happens to bring up music, because I did want to recommend an album that I've been listening to a lot of recently. And for all of those who know, Carlos and I both love R&B music.
Oh, did you not listen to Mein Kampf on tape that you said you were going to listen to for quite a while? On audiobook? Did you not say you're going
to get me murdered out here, man?
Oh, Jesus. Oh, whoops. Never mind. Sorry.
But for anybody who knows High Five or Tony Thompson.
Okay.
Tony Thompson had a solo album, and rest in peace to Tony Thompson, because I believe that they found his body in some unfortunate circumstances.
Why is that relevant to the situation? Please continue with
and I'm sorry for laughing, but Tony Thompson happened to be a member of a 90s R&B group, High Five. He came out with a solo album. I forget what year it was, but the album is called Sexational.
You're gonna really recommend a shit like this on the goddamn show.
It's a good R&B album. So if you like 90s R&B, definitely go hit that up. I've been bumping it the last couple of weeks. That's my recommendation for this week.
Wow. Sexational. 1995.
1995. Tony Thompson.
Great year.
Go check it out.
All right. Well, I got it right here on my YouTube Music app.
That is the album.
That is, in fact, the album. 11 tracks. One of them is called Slave. Why is that funny? Because
you picked the worst thing. You picked the worst side of it.
Why is that funny? All right. On that note, thank you for joining us this week. Tune in next week where we might get ourselves into another offensive trouble. Who knows? Maybe the FCC might finally just listen to this and be like, gotta cut it. But who knows? We should definitely work on getting a disclaimer before each and every episode.
Wait.
Oh,
there's one last thing I do want to say to you, Carlos, and this is actually good news, and we didn't confirm this yet, but I'm telling you live, everybody's listening, as well as Carlos, is that I have gone through the negotiations of this room, and this room is going to be the future studio. 100% of the Blank podcast go forward.
Oh, wow.
So there is a lot of paintings and a lot of artwork at the moment. We may keep some of it, we may not, but this will be the future set and studio of the Blank with Carlos and Ryan.
So we're going to have all kinds of new shit in there.
Yeah, Carlos and I are definitely going to be working on this space. Hopefully to have some advancements, some cool stuff that we can kind of bring in and, make it our home. So
guests,
definitely. So be excited for that. We'll definitely be we'll be working on that. But yeah, it's a journey, and thank you for joining this journey with us. So
all right,
get that out.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Great news. Should have talked to me beforehand, but that's fine. That's fine. But thank you so much for joining us. If you don't forget to vote for us on Podchaser.
Oh yeah,
we're on the IMDb of podcasts now. Our name is on there, but we don't have a lot of votes and reviews out there. So we don't know how we're doing unless you guys tell us how we're doing. Help your boys out. Okay? All right. Well, I'm Carlos.
I'm Ryan.
And this is The Blank with Carlos and Ryan. Fill it in. I said that. I whispered that. Okay. See y'all next week.
Cheers.